different picks, Lulu mid and whatnot. As we go into Champion Select, we'll see if they try to bring some of that stuff out.
Yeah. If something new does pop up this game, I'm thinking that it might be a Xerath. CLG have been playing around with that a little bit. Actually, Mandatory Cloud also expressed that Xerath is a pretty strong and underplayed middle champion. He's not as crazy as calling out the jungle Kassadin, but Xerath would be really nice to see too.
Indeed, we actually see them taking
There's
away.
The Italy ban.
There's the
last
Italy
one.
ban.
You got it.
They try to squeak it out. They're like, maybe we can fake him out, and then they actually take out Zuna's Kog'Maw as well. So they're trying to take away that comfort and bring him on a closer AD.
The Jarvan pick, pretty much expected that because they banned the Xin Zhao. So Vi maybe here too. The other jungle bruiser that's been really popular still left up.
Absolutely. Elise still on the board for Psycho Sid. Actually did quite well with that in the 2v1 by himself as well.
They did a good job, though. They took out 2 of the really main champions that Vulcun used to get ahead. That Hecarim, Smithy really did work on that.
That's true.
And then Zuna's been just so comfortable on Kog'Maw, and every other AD carry almost, he looks a little bit like out of place. I mean, he's definitely still good on that Twitch and anything that has long range. But when he played Graves, they really had a problem in the late game.
As you say.
There we go, Twitch.
As you say, he picks it out. And they do pick the protected Twitch as
well. That combo right there,
yeah.
That's like a team all in of itself. That's a 2-man team. You're looking pretty good right now.
This is on a tangent here. The composition that GGU used to give Curse the most trouble that they've had on their streak to be undefeated.
Don't Mash Me was a big fan of this combo. He loves his Twitch, and what better assist can you have than a Kale ultimate making you invulnerable? He would have been really happy to have that last week when the Malphite and Vi double dive combo were on him.
That was just in-your-face crusher combo. I forgot what we called it. That was terribly painful. Terribly painful, but Alistar still getting the playtime here. Looks like he's back just on the field. He's got some new cleats. Coach put him in.
He should really thank Patoy for that. Actually, like everyone was talking about Patoy's KDA, and since he was using Alistar at the time, all the other supports are like, oh yeah, I forgot about Alistar. We should probably bring him back up again. And so many of these guys used to like main Alistar, and everyone loved him, and he just fell by the wayside. But now he's back to #1 picks.
Completely back. Buff and Cutie said it took him a few games, but he was like, yeah, he's still Alistar.
It was like, you know what?
Wow,
I
go
used to
figure.
main that.
Still a mad cow.
And we have the Volibear.
Volibear and Singed.
Okay, so a lot of people say, you know, like North American teams are sheep and they pick all the same champions following the same strategies.
Of course.
But it seems to me like EU, they just follow Diamond procs. Like Diamond plays that the Xin Zhao with the Locket and the Aegis, and then every single jungler is playing the Locket and the Aegis Xin Zhao. And then he plays Volibear, and now all the EU teams are first picking Volibear jungle. Now it's actually seeped over into the US as well. So I guess
we would be taking
the
whole
world, just every single jungler always looks to Diamond procs, see what he's doing.
And actually Link has been
see, they're hovering over the Xerath. Did I just like have a sign that says like attack trolls or something? Okay, they locked it in. So I called that one right. I'm like 2 for 3 now. So that's not too bad.
Go to Link on the screen and watch him laughing at you.
So that's good. They do actually bring out the Xerath. I really like that because Chaucer talked about how good Xerath is for so long. I remember years ago, he was like, don't know why nobody plays Xerath. He's got amazing range. He gets built-in spell penetration, and he has a great nuke for his ultimate. So it's a really good all-around mid laner. And he also gets a lot of armor from his passive, actually. The more AP you get, the more armor you get on him.
Well, that's actually one of my favorite things, synergizing champions.
Synergize.
Synergizing
you just wanted to say
champions. Got to get it out. So we see the swap around coming in. Teleport for both of the top laners. Psycho Sid employing the teleport now. He feels it's going to be useful after we keep poking at him about that in Italy game. But.
The Vulcun picks are kind of similar to like some Dignitas picks. They're like top champions that they've been using have been Singed and Kale also. So it's interesting to see they've sort of borrowed some strategies maybe here, it looks like.
Right.
Xerath, with his high damage ultimate, if Kale is not ready and puts that ult on him immediately, he can 100% Twitch. Xerath can explode that Twitch if he catches him out of position.
So with these compositions, do either team have kind of a fast, aggressive, we want to focus down one lane?
Now, this is a pretty even matchup. I like both of these teams. I mean, Vulcun looks amazing in that late game with the Kale Twitch combo. You always have to watch out for that.
But that's CLG's bread and butter.
Yeah. Exactly. They're really good in late game as well, so we'll have to see how it pans out. I mean, Doublelift is on his vein. So happy to be there. One of his favorite champions. He always feels comfortable on that, and it's a really good combo with Alistar because either of those champions, if you get them near a wall, then you can just combo those CCs over and over and come out with a kill. It's not like a heavy pushing lane, but it definitely always has that potential to turn a kill around, especially if you have a ganker like Jarvan who can come at you so quickly.
Yeah, so we see Aframu on your screen here. We're going to get his mouse all set up. Seemed to about glitch or blip out for him there in the beginning of the match, as he's just waiting for that to get situated. The team discussing what's going to go down here for the level 1 in the first game of Super Wednesday. We have so much League of Legends to go on today, and these guys here to set the bar. We got some shoes to fill.
Yeah,
we're about to
I'm
set the
sure
pace.
that CLG knows exactly what they're doing level 1. You can see right there. They were just looking around. They didn't even have anything to discuss. They're like, yeah, we already have our plan.
They're on
they
blue
probably
side. They're on blue side.
I'd say I'd say they probably have their level 1s planned out for every single one of their matches already even.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They really took the losses last week hard, and I'm sure that they do not want to let any of those slip by again. Like when they look at the teams that they're coming up against, they can't afford to let any of those slip.
And it looks like all the teams actually kind of sit in that order of just having your mid in the mid. Some teams actually have the jungler in the mid. When you were on CLG, where did you guys when you played competition?
The only thing I remember is I was sitting next to Chauster because he smacked me in the shoulder because I was shaking too much, and I was actually moving his keyboard. I don't really. Yeah, we didn't have set spots.
You mean that guy hit you?
Yeah.
No, he couldn't.
He's like, calm down. He gets vicious. Okay. People who watch Chauster's stream.
Chaust vicious.
Yeah, Chaust vicious.
We'll
All right.
see.
So we'll have Aframu come back in. But yeah, I mean, the CLG team, they are confident in their late game too just because of Doublelift's Vayne. I mean, he's complained a little bit about the situation, but that's still one of his most comfortable champions, and she still scales really well. He is one of the few people who are able to use that tumble to dodge all the skill shots and avoid a lot of damage, which is really what you have to do since her range isn't that big.
Well, we'll have to see. Zuna and Doublelift both very mechanically sound. The game is now underway as we are back on to Summoner's Rift. Rivington III and Kobe24 bringing you this first matchup of Super Wednesday. Counterlogic versus Vulcun, that rematch that everybody has been wanting to see. This is where Vulcun found their first win against Counterlogic, and Counterlogic Gaming has kind of faltered since then, and we're kind of seeing if they can get back on top as well.
I'd be interested to see how much attention Smithy puts in the AD lane this game, because we saw last time he just camped Doublelift so much, and this game they have Thresh, who is my favorite support. As a jungler, I love it when my support is Thresh because he can set up the most amazing ganks. We can do an alley-oop here, throw a bear right at... Oh, they don't get the last hit on that ward. He can throw the bear at you with that lantern, and then with the charge they'll be able to flip you over his shoulders. And since they have both Singed and Volibear, it looks like Vulcun are going to challenge CLG to a game of leapfrog here and see how many flips in a row we can get.
Yeah, this is going to be, once we get to that late game, if one team doesn't find a way to just overthrow the other before that 20-minute mark, it's going to be a very long fight between these teams. There's going to be a lot of beef in these front lines, so it's going to be fantastic to watch them go coast to coast, and really comes down to who can kite better.
This may be one of my favorite lineups just because we could have like Singed and Volibear throwing someone back and forth playing catch here. He does have teleport, so they could potentially gank the same lane at the same time. If we have Singed teleport in and Smithy's coming in to gank it, that would be perfect. So they're starting on the double golems down here, just helping out Chauster. They're also going to take some experience though for both these bottom laners.
Looks like everybody's doing this. Did they get golems on that bottom lane as well?
Yep. So bottom lane got golems, and then the Twitch and Thresh also took the wolves just to kind of balance that out. And since they shared their golem experience with Chauster, it's going to be pretty much even down there.
And actually, I was looking up top when I was saying that, rather. Smithy and Psycho Sid were sharing the golems as well.
Yeah.
But they do return to that lane, and it won't be an advantage at that level 2 for either of the ADs, and they'll find that out in just a second. And they probably noticed that his Muffin Cutie's already taken a bit of damage.
Oh, I know he wants to get that soul. Whenever I play Thresh, that shining green light.
Yep,
oh, yeah, he goes and grabs
he wanted it
nice.
so bad.
That's the thing. When you're in a winning lane with Thresh, it's so much better than if you have to play from behind. So they really need to... Oh, this Lynx takes a lot of harass. Both Ignites come out.
Wow, there's good aggression in middle. We actually saw the early pink ward going down, which makes me think they want really early aggression on this bottom lane. They don't want Zune to get anywhere near a fed point. They're going to start that right now. We'll have to see if they use that pink ward. It's going to be about 3 minutes they have. And we're about 3 minutes into the game so far. Hotshot and Psycho Sid happily farming in the top lane. Both seem to... Actually, Sid goes for an early ward in his buy as Hotshot. He did as well. He's already placed it down.
Okay, so Chaucer just hit level 3. After he grabs his Wraith camp, he may be looking for another gank. He's actually going to go around because he thinks that they potentially have a ward around the Wraith camp, which is pretty smart. You can see it's not too deep, and they wouldn't have seen him go all the way in there. But that's just a cautionary tactic to use.
So this mid, or the wave rather, just kind of sitting in mid of this bottom lane. We'll have to see if Chaucer meanders his way down, finds a gank for his team. They do have the pings going down in that bottom lane. Kobe, we see him start to head there. Muffin Cutie is pushing in and out. Let's see if grabbing one of those souls could really be the bane of it here. That ward is going to see him, but not before he gets out of the tri-bush. No. Muffin Cutie taking a little bit of damage, and he does get put out of place here.
And that ward inside the bush just got them the kill right there. Easy condemn, easy follow up there from Afromu. Great job by them locking up those CCs. And the ward defensively here for Vulcun also didn't give them very much time. It didn't alert them soon enough to Chaucer's presence.
Looks like Psycho Sid's trying to take advantage of this, knowing that they have Chaucer in the bottom lane. He's going to try to get a bit of damage and farm past that turret in the top. Smithy taking advantage of this as well, taking away that wolf camp.
So at least when he saw Chaucer bottom, Smithy took the initiative to go into the jungle and grab something for himself. They get the wolves. It's not that much getting back, but at least they also have the blue timer now too, and that is really important for Xerath. So if they can get over there as soon as the next blue pops up and contest that, Link just got into a poor position. Smithy didn't want to go for it though because he was in the bush.
Yeah, Smithy waiting right now. Does have enough for his Madrids, but he's just waiting around. Probably one last gank before he goes for the buy. And he does force the flash on Link, so we may see him back there in town in just a few more seconds. That blue buff just about to wear off him.
So that's a pretty good trade. The jungler's flash for the mid laner's flash is going to make Xerath play a little bit more defensively. Link can just CS. From pretty far back, though. That's one of Xerath's big strengths. He's going to miss a few CS, but his Arcano Pulse has a really nice range. It's 900 if you aren't increasing it with his Locus of Power. Once you use the Locus of Power, it gets up to 1300.
Yeah, you're right. He's still very safe even after losing that flash. He can just sit back. Good gank here on Mandatory Cloud for a little bit of pressure in mid. Knowing that flash is down, they want to just give Link a little bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, so he's able to get a few more CS, but still, now his lane is pushed, so you can tell he's being really cautious right now. He doesn't have the wards on the bottom side right here. If someone came through the jungle, through this blue side, he could sneak up to him.
Right.
He just has these two up by the fairly aggressively into the jungle.
So quickly coming up for Hotshot in the top lane, he buys a Chalice. Interesting purchase, so he can just kind of sustain within the poison and keep farming out that lane and push it up. Surprised they didn't go for the 2v1 in this one. Any reason you think they may not have?
Which team? CLG?
Either team.
I think CLG, we're pretty confident with this bottom line. Like I said, as soon as you get someone near the wall, and it showed really well right there, that they can get a kill on this Thresh lane. Thresh is a really strong support, but you know that he's always going to want to go get those souls, and they really use it to their advantage. You can throw out the Lantern to pick some up, but that's a huge cooldown, and it also costs mana, so it's kind of a back and forth there for that.
For sure. So we see Double Lift and half removed just kind of hanging out in the bush here. Unsure if they've headed up towards that top side or if Vulcun right now thinks that they've backed. Yeah. They do have the Lantern in there, so they don't know where they are. Double Lift's going to swing out of the bush, so they figure that Afromu is probably close by. They really get nothing out of that trickery. Back to farm in the lane here. 8 minutes in, we did see that first kill going to Double Lift in the beginning. He's going to be very happy with that. Hasn't gotten too much of a purchase there. Just went for the boots. He's probably got some money under his belt still. Actually, 1,000 gold there. So we look for him to go back soon. We see Volibear in mid, and not too much really from the junglers after that first gank. There was a little bit of a counter Kobe from McSmithy, but it seems like they've slowed it down.
Yeah, and both of these AD carries do pretty well in the late game, I have to say. So drawing even on farm, both teams are happy with that. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's really going to be skill and positioning in those later team fights that determines the big difference. As we see a good invade on that blue buff because of the power of Singe. Hotshot can't really go contest that, and his mid laner and also Chaucer are going to go answer with a blue buff of their own.
So much for slowing things down. They just turn it right back up here. This is kind of slow for them to grab this blue. Everybody can get back into position. But with Xmithy staying in the top side of the jungle, this seems a lot safer for counter logic here. Chaucer is low on mana, but without being engaged down, they shouldn't be in too much trouble.
Yeah, so something that counter logic should be aware of is that Psycho Sid, not only does he have teleport, but he's also being able to bully Hotshot, so he's shoving his lane. So if he takes, if he uses his teleport, then he's not going to lose that much either. So he's ready to join any fight right now. So Chaucer has to be cautious when he goes for a gank, because there could easily be Singe teleporting into that, and they have to be aware that it will turn into a 3-on-3 very quickly.
There's a lot of pings going down into that bottom lane, actually, as they go a little bit aggressive here. But it doesn't seem like they're really going to get what they wanted to go in for that initiation.
Yeah.
Only round.
I mean, Hotshot's ready to teleport in too. So really, when something happens, it's going to be a They're just slowly winning this game here with that bottom lane. The repeated ganks from Chaucer coming, both of them have been successful, and Volibear really hasn't done much except for that flash trade in middle. So Chaucer definitely giving CLG the edge right now. And both teleports still aren't used.
Yeah, nobody
10 minutes into the game. Usually we see those come out pretty quickly at the first sign of a gank, but both of them have been pretty stingy holding on to those cooldowns.
We don't know Vulcun or Counter Logic for being a super fast dragon team, and we know Counter Logic will let a few dragons go if they know they feel comfortable enough in the position they're in. There's Mandatory Cloud getting a little bit of aggression there. The intervention goes down, and the trade back is just so extreme. Link taking some damage, but he doesn't have vision, so he backs off.
He doesn't even use his flash. That was pretty good. Big balls there by Link. He was calculating the damage. He knew that the slow was almost going to run out, so he didn't have anything else to worry about except the jungler coming in. Now Smithy's showing in the middle lane, and they're going to try and get some damage on this tower.
I like that play by Mandatory Cloud, that he didn't just dive in there, because this is just as good, and it gets the whole team gold. They can grab it down. Actually, nice job by Chaucer, the presence in lane to just push that off.
Yeah, both of those mid laners could have used flash, but they both knew that the other one had flash too, so they both saved it.
The one for the other, and then you just give other people the kill.
It's like just like the teleports here at top. Everyone's being pretty stingy with their cooldowns. The only action coming from Chaucer. He's making stuff happen.
No, he really is. Moving back down to the bottom lane. Pink wards all over the place coming out from Vulcun as well as Counter Logic this game. They're not really saving any money for those. And there's another one coming down. They want to get this early dragon coming, not early dragon coming in, the first dragon, I should say.
So they think that they have all the vision covered, but you see the other pink ward in that little bush means that Vulcun are going to come contest this.
Could be a teleport from Hotshot. It looks like
they're far enough away from each other.
They have 4 on it. The positioning looks good. The teleport coming in for Hotshot. Which side is he going to come in on? It looks like they may stop that. No, he does come in. The Unstoppable Force onto Mandatory Cloud, and they catch Xmithy in it as well. Cloud uses his ult defensively and is just forced to go down as his team runs.
Okay, so they did get that dragon, Really nice steal there from Smithy. Good job outsmiting Chowster. And the teleport from Hotshot was used too. So look, Sid doing really good work up there on that top turret. That one's probably going to be traded for this middle turret as they come in onto Muffin Cutie.
And Muffin Cutie once again. Oh, he goes down so fast and everybody gets a piece of it there. Zuna trying to trade the damage back and push them off of the turrets, but Counter Logic is just riding the wave of aggression right now. 5-0 at 13 minutes. They've just grabbed themselves a 2,000 gold lead.
Muffin QT, some poor positioning right there. Just gives up a free kill. Also burned his ultimate in a little panic, but it's pretty much an even trade here. We're gonna have Singe get that top. There we go. Okay, so it was one turret for one turret at least. Just a couple extra kills.
Yep.
And 5 kills to 0 means that in game, Counter Logic Gaming probably feel pretty good about it, but the gold lead isn't that big of a difference since Vulcun were able to steal that dragon away.
Yeah, they've closed that down. Actually down to 1,000 now. It's that 2,000, that turret getting dropped in the top, quickly closing the gap. So they're doing everything they need to just kind of inch and stay behind Counter Logic right now, but they have to find those kills and they have to get them off the rift for a little bit of time. That's where the big push is going to come in. Looks like Doublelift's going to be picking up the red. Counter Logic just continuing to position themselves for a fight here. We see the locket almost being built on both Volibear and Jarvan. The Rod of Ages finished on Psycho Sid, so he's ready to start stacking himself up. And we see actually the buy for Zuna coming out on the pickaxe first, which may mean he feels, no, he's kind of ahead there in CS, but maybe he feels like behind because of that 3-0 he's against on double.
Well, he grabbed up a pink whip for himself too. He's probably going to be, yeah, there we go, BF sword. So he's going to be looking for an Infinity Edge really quickly, whereas Doublelift already got his Bloodthirster, and he's going to be start stacking that up. So they're going to have a mid-game advantage here with this Vayne with Bloodthirster. It's interesting that we have the Singe starting with that Rod of Ages. We haven't seen that too many times in the LCS so far. I know especially Inverted Composer, who's a pretty famous solo queue Singe, really prefers that tier first because Singe does get extra HP for all the extra mana that he gets from items. And it's a really cost-efficient item on him, but the Rod of Ages stacks up everything that he needs.
Going to benefit from that as Doublelift looks to prep this turret in the bottom lane with a few shots, but it seems like there wasn't much pressure there from Zuna. They're going to allow this lane to stay up. They like the pressure they're able to put on Vulcun down there, and they're just going to continue to punish the lane.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good if I'm a Vulcun fan right now because they are behind in the kills, but the gold isn't too big of a difference. And once they get those bounties off of Counter Logic Gaming, if they can take down Doublelift, then that would put it pretty much even again.
We'll see if Zuna and or Mandatory Cloud can pick those up for their team. Like Smithy, they're making sure he's not as much of a factor in this game. We can see that he's not on one of those comfort champions like Hecarim, and hasn't had as much presence in the lanes, I should say. That gank from Chowster again in the bottom lane, that pressure towards the lane. They left that turret in, and you can see just backing already. Very cautious play from Zuna and Muff.
Yeah, it's interesting that Smithy, when he was on Hecarim, he did a lot of lane ganks. Doublelift is giving them one shot. Shots fired, and they're going to have to back off.
A little aggro there from Doublelift. Said, all right, I'll put you out of lane. You can leave with my ultimate. We get this turret down. That's going to be 2-1 at 16 minutes. And top lane still, Psycho Sid just throwing Hotshot GG around, but it doesn't look like either is really worried about it. Hotshot's just kind of annoyed.
Yeah, a little bit. That Singe goo is one of the most annoying things. I think that and Fiddlestick Spear. Oh my goodness. But we do have a push in the middle here. CLG's just up against Mandatory Cloud, trying to get to that inner turret.
Funny story, when we went to Brazil, some summoners walked up to Freak and they said, Freak, we love you. We have one question and one answer you need to give us. Is it possible for you to take out fear from the game? It was like, please take out fear. And he's like, I know what you mean, but I can't.
Negative. It was funny. So it looks like we are going to have 4 members collapsing on this top. But they're going to back off because there's a nice defense and a teleport in.
Oh, coming in from the left side, but does he have enough time to get onto Doublelift? That tumble could just be quickly out of that slow, and they don't get what they want. So the teleport's down. Hotshot is still up. Dragon has a good amount of time before it comes back up, so we won't see any engagement there. But everybody looks to back here after this top engagement.
So many pings coming off. There's no vision around right in the Baron pit, so they're a little bit worried about sneakiness, but not too worried. So they're just going to go back, probably grab a few more wards for the river. CLG's got some really nice wards placed inside of Vulcan's jungle, but none actually near the pit.
And I think CLG is going to pressure a fight ASAP. Instead of just cleaning up and finishing that locket, they go for 2 Giants belts. They just out-max HP Vulcan so hard right now, and this next fight could be quite scary.
That Oracles that they just picked up as well is going to be extremely important. Whenever you're facing Twitch, if Twitch tries to get into position, he didn't see that they had the Oracles before, so if he runs into that, then that will just turn the entire team fight around. Even if Kale is there to ultimate him, that could be a cooldown wasted.
And to consider, they feel like they're ahead here. They actually going for the initiation, and there's the health melt. Chauster was the first one in versus 3, and he still has a good amount. Here comes Psycho Sid, though. Will he be able to wreak havoc on Singe? We see him getting a kill. Double lift going up in the top lane to keep pushing on that turret. So if they go down here, they're still getting that global gold. Hotshot could find himself there. They're quite low on mana, at least Link is, as they back off of this fight. Double lift gets that turret in the top lane here.
All right, so both junglers being exchanged right there, but like you said, Double Lift wasn't even in that fight, so he's been farming up top. He's got his maxed out Bloodthirster. They trade a dragon for a turret, which isn't too bad, except for the fact that they're still pushing. So this middle turret, as well as the top turret after that, are going to be in trouble.
And that's what those Giants belts are doing. After that fight, they are left with so much HP. Usually you see a team going back, but they're still able to push after losing those few members. Great engagement there. We see Vulcan picking up their first kill here 19 minutes into the game. Still a very close game though. 6-1. The gold is only 26,700 to 25,200 at 3-1 in turrets. Those objectives, we saw Vulcan doing it last week. They had complete control. They were able to steal away the first one here and grab the second one with the knowledge that they were losing their turrets. If they can control those objectives, they keep themselves in the game.
Yeah, despite this 6-1 score at the top right here, this game is so close, and both of these teams know that the other team has a pretty good late game as well. You can see that CLG really wants to use the vision that they're denying with that Oracles to get an advantage. They want to make Vulcan come into a spot seeking them out where they won't have the perfect initiate. Because if you can get an amazing Malphite initiate and a good Xerath ult following up, like we saw back there, when you Xerath ult 2 people, then it makes Mandatory Cloud have to choose which one he's going to ultimate. And if you split your damage in an AoE like that, it really plays to the strengths of this composition.
It's like getting a bunch of Leona ults.
Oh yeah.
That don't slow people. And may stun.
There's actually a 0.35 second casting time on that ultimate, so you can't cast them all at exactly the same time.
Right.
But you can cast 2 of them in the same spot, and one will land right after the other one.
So we see the mid lane here to be gathered in. Both teams staring dead at each other for whatever could be this engagement. See if Double Lift can get close enough to poke this turret here. There's one shot. Looks like he backs off. It's going to be a real slow turret takedown here with the amount of poke that they have, especially with the amount of clear coming from Kale. So seeing these turrets go down may be quite an experience.
Both of these, Afromu and Hotshot, are pretty good at diving. I mean, Hotshot's got 150 armor.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going while they're turrets
and we also have an ultimate here on Alistar, which would make it really, really easy dive here. So they don't want him to push anything too far, but there goes the ultimate.
There's one,
he misses.
View from Xerath there. He just throws him out for a look-see, and that says enough for Psycho Sid and the gang to go in. The engagement coming in. Xerath, or rather, we're going to see Muffin's ulti going down, a dive in onto Zuna. Can he keep him locked up? Zuna gets out pretty well there. They're doing some good damage as they kite this fight out, but Double Lift coming up with a double kill as he tumbles once again, trying to come up with a third, but it's going to be Lynx as Hotshot takes out Zuna. It's only Muffin Cutie left, and like we said, Kobe, they're not even going to take the turret first.
And you can see how close those teams are matched up in the end game right there. That fight was so close. We even had Mandatory Cloud intervening on Zuna for the dunk by Chauster, so he actually blocked that damage, but it wasn't enough. That wasn't the full burst, so he blocked only that little bit of damage from Jarvan, and they were able to pick up Zuna after that, and they get the turret.
And for something that seemed like there should be so much money in one favor, it's only about 2,300 gold lead. The 4th turret of the game, but the map control is becoming a dangerous thing here for Vulcun. They need to start getting that back into their favor. They need to drop that mid turret.
So that game was pretty much even. The only thing really, they got 1,000 global gold. Extra coming out of that, and Twitch has his Infinity Edge, so that's going to help out a lot.
Pushing into the mid lane, CLG back. At the buys right now. Some Fire Cape coming in for Malphite.
We also have Distortion upgrade. Early Distortion upgrade here for Sin, so he's going to look to split
teleport. Everybody's been grabbing that.
Yeah, I mean, Psycho Sid, he was really a big proponent of that. He also picked up Warden's Mail. I have to say, this is one of my favorite defensive armor items because that passive that you get is so worth it. As soon as you can upgrade that into the Randuin's Omen, it's actually considered one of the best armor defensive items in the game, and that's going to do a lot of work against Vayne because she relies so much on auto attacks. Double Lift, one of his biggest gripes was now that it's just painful to auto-attack anyone who has a Randuin's Omen because you automatically get your attack speed and movement speed slowed.
So looking around at some of these other items, the fast Morellonomicon coming out for Link in his build. I think he actually put that on Syndra as well. He tried that item, I want to say.
Yeah, it's getting a lot more popular as we have Smithy running in.
Ooh, those Xerath also, once again, not doing as much damage as they would hope. They do get the stun onto Xmithy, but it's not going to be any sort of engagement for them. 11-5 as both of those kill scores creep up. First, it was just counter logic, but Vulcun has found themselves on the scoreboard now. Those kills, however, not going to Zuna. Those are going to be huge. Actually, Muffin Cutie has 2 of them.
Yeah, Double Lift with the majority of the kills for counter logic gaming.
Right.
But like you said, with that Morellonomicon, he's got some good cooldown reduction. There's only a 53-second cooldown on that Xerath ultimate, the Arcane Barrage, so it'll be back up before they fight again. There's only 15 more seconds on it. They lose out the turret, but they're ready to fight once more. Psycho Sid going to go into this bush and just recall. It looks like they're going to play fairly defensive, just putting some more wards in that Baron. They don't want anything to be snuck from them because CLG are pretty famous for their either 2 or 3 man sneaky Barons. If you don't have a ward directly inside the Baron pit, then they could be over there.
So there was just a ping on that bottom turret. I wonder if that was Hotshot's ping or the team's ping, because if it was Hotshot's ping, then it's time for Farm Shot GG. We are 25 minutes in, and like you said, that sneaky Baron, CLG could want that right now. They aren't significantly ahead, but that trick fight, or that fight to be had, could put them ahead.
I mean, since Double Lift is so fed, if he was one of the ones over there for the sneak Baron, then it would actually go down pretty quick. He has that true damage. And we see Mandatory Cloud going with pretty much the exact AP Kale build that came over from Korea a while ago that really spurred on the new... Oh, here we go. They are going to jump onto Singe. Will they dive it, though? He's a fairly tanky champion. Doesn't look like they want to waste much on him.
Force out the ultimate and his ghost there, so they will be waiting for that to go down and then possibly get the engagement that they want. Muffin Cutie looking for a toss there. He doesn't get the grab. Is Chaucer, and you can see Chaucer and Aframu just being a tanky front line, and Vulcun wants none of it. So Psycho Sid's ultimate, that ghost is now down. They're going to just try to hold off this turret. We saw what a turret meant for CLG last time. It meant it's time to fight under that turret. So Vulcan's a little bit tankier this time. It's going to go differently, and we'll have to see how they coordinate for this one. Yeah,
I mean, Double Lift used his ultimate too, but his is like 50 seconds shorter than Singe's ultimate, so it's almost back up already.
That
Smithy just getting poked out.
There's another form of poke that we're seeing now coming from Xerath. Those ultimates, like you said, huge cooldown there. Or very low cooldown, I should say. Not a huge cooldown, hugely low, if you will. And he's just able to spam that out.
They're just marching in here.
Yeah, walking along. Vulcan's just forced to watch on at this, and Counter Logic looks to really bring themselves back with some momentum here after they weren't able to do much coming into week 3. Smithy trying to go in for the engagement after the turret goes down. Is this what they wanted? The lockout of the Iron Solari really wasn't able to stop much damage. And it looks like Double Lift still wants blood here. Going in, trying to hit up Psycho Sid. It's the only thing he has to shoot, and he's actually taking him down quite fast. Everybody's just trying to flash away. Link's trying to crowd control right now. They find Muffin Cutie. This will be another kill for Double Lift as they take down 2. Psycho Sid gets out alive, though.
they just kind of walk in the base there. Every time Smithy comes up, he gets poked down before he's able to initiate at all, and they just seems like they start this fight from behind. Doublelift doing a great job right there with the tumbles. He dodges every single skill shot, able to juke that Thresh right there, backs on a ward, and is just fine with it.
So, Psycho said is staying alive for the time he needs to stay alive. He's doing a great job at being singed, but there's really nothing else Smithy can do after that first flip. They have no peel for everybody running onto Zuna. There's great gap closers and great crowd control for Counter Logic Gaming. It's such a hard composition to stop getting to your carries.
Yeah, they aren't really taking much damage either. You can see Chowster also rushed to a negative of the Legion. They learned from last time. They didn't even get a locket yet. He's probably going to get the locket second after that. But they just want to make sure they did have that defensive aura for the first few team fights, and they were able to really just walk into that inhibitor. They took it down, and that's a huge advantage. They've picked up another Oracles. This one's actually on Chaucer this time, so they're splitting that gold burden of buying those. Now with the 5-minute timer, they're also going to be able to clear out Baron once again and force Vulcun into their hands.
This can still be a game for Zuna's damage if he can get that last Whisper in, if his team can start softening up Counter Logic, but right now he doesn't have anything to pierce through that armor. They're so already
Baron is hitting you,
easily to build.
Baron just got like 5 free hits.
He's enjoying himself.
6, 7, there we go. Some good damage onto CLG. Every member takes a piece.
As we look around, 12 assists coming in for Chaucer. He said such a hand being omnipresent all game long as we crest up to 30 minutes. The gold lead finally separating somewhat around 4,000 here as the turrets are 6-2. And really, the lead of kills or gold isn't what it's coming to, is the map control right now as these turrets are being dropped. And the poke coming from this late game Xerath. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Awesome job.
So Link actually maxed his Locus of Power second, which gives him 40% magic penetration.
There's the initiation. Great job. Link just from the side poking it in, gives his team enough initiation. Looks like Smithy could fall, and there it is. A second one for Muffin Cutie. And it looks like Mandatory Cloud. The second shot, he doesn't even get the third bolt proc. And it looks like they're able to drop 2 for Doublelift right there. They look to go on. Zuna very low. Psycho Sid trying to get back to the base, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop much, Kobe.
CLG just has too much damage coming out of too many places. Mandatory Cloud really needs to block a lot with his intervention to be able to keep them, and it looks like they're just going to march on the inhibitor turrets here. I mean, the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, Nexus turrets could be going down. It's going to be about 8 seconds before Thresh or Volibear can get in here. Singed or Psycho Sid going to do what he can, but they have eyes on the Nexus. Super Wednesday, Game 1 going to be going to Counter Logic, and they do get a rematch win versus Vulcun.
Dominating.